Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. Here are your hosts, Lady Alba and Lord Knight.
So, do we need to turn the wheel?
That's interesting.
You know, I know some traditionalists that would tell us yes.
I have heard a lot of pagans over the years say that that is necessary. That we have to physically involve ourselves in the turning of the wheel, the moving of the seasons, the cycles.
That if these rituals and stuff are not held, we will not have the seasons.
Yeah.
Now, gotta ask, so what is your belief on this?
So my answer to that is, and I'll use myself as an example. So break something. I broke my ankle, okay? And when you spend 8 to 12 weeks of your life stuck in bed, literally the only thing you can do is occasionally get up to go to the bathroom, and then you are right back to bed. You figure out pretty quickly that the whole world keeps on spinning without you.
Go figure.
Everything. You are, there is not a single part of me that believes that, that's so egotistical to think that I am necessary for nature to do its thing. Yeah.
But again, this actually used to be an actual belief.
Yeah.
It used to believe that if we didn't do the sacrifices, if we didn't do the rituals, the wheat would not grow and die so we could harvest and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. The seasons wouldn't change. Winter would not end. I mean, there were any number of thoughts around that. I think the same ego that fuels that idea in a modern setting,
right,
is the same one that says we have to heal the planet, or we have to exert our influence to course correct. Yeah.
You know, the Earth has done quite fine for quite a number of years before we got here.
She is also a fickle beast.
True.
And I really, truly believe that she is perfectly capable of getting rid of us if need be. Yeah.
No doubts.
I don't think that the planet requires us to do anything. I mean, nature doesn't care, right? That's where it's so hard to I think explain to some people. Nature in all forms, it does not care. It doesn't necessarily have an agenda, right? It's not out to hurt us necessarily, but it does what it does because it's necessary to continue to sustain life as a whole. We are insignificant to it.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I believe that ritual helps us better attune.
Yes, totally.
To the seasons.
Mm-hmm. To connect with it.
All right.
To appreciate it.
To understand it.
To notice it. Yeah. Right. I think all of that, absolutely. I mean, but to think that we somehow have that great an impact. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about the environmental component. Like, yeah, pick up your trash, don't litter, clean a beach every now and again. Like, do your part to not contribute to additionally damaging the planet. But I'm not talking about that.
No.
Literally just the idea that, seasonally or effectively, we have to do something as a religion or as individuals.
I mean, do us celebrating the equinoxes actually cause them to move on?
Yeah.
We all know the truth. Again, they're going to pass regardless if we're there or not.
Well, it's the tree falling in the forest metaphor, right? Does it make a sound if there's no one there to hear it? It's like, do the equinoxes happen if a witch isn't there to celebrate it? I mean, course it does.
Of course it does. You know, and it's kind of like if a man's alone in the woods and there's not a woman to tell him that he's wrong, is he still wrong?
You'll have to answer that one. I'm not getting involved. I'm going to stay silent.
No. I'm with you on this. That again, it's us attuning to this season, not us turning the wheel.
No, I think what people mistake is that when a lot of us talk about turning the wheel, perhaps a better way to look at it is to walk the wheel.
That makes better sense.
Yeah. We're going along with it. We're following the season accordingly. I mean, to me, it's not any different than, I think we all know or have, you know, that one friend who's never prepared. And, you know, when the weather changes, you know, the rest of us are like, hey, maybe I'll bring a hoodie or a jacket just in case. And there's always that one doofus who's in shorts and flip-flops and the temp dips and you're like, bro, of course you're cold. It's fall. Like, what were you thinking?
What were you think was going to happen?
Yeah, why? I know it was a little warmer today, but at night it's going to get colder. It's that kind of thing. We tend to be a little bit ahead too. And I think that is an important piece of our connection.
Well, see, I think this type of connection to nature is more important today.
Sure.
Than it was in the past, because you can spend all your life inside an air conditioning or temperature controlled and never experience the harsh weather.
I mean, here's an interesting thought. What about pagans who are incarcerated?
What about, you know, again,
effectively, they are pagans in captivity.
Exactly.
So what about them? They're not experiencing the seasons the same way we are. But it doesn't mean that they're denying their existence.
No. But I'm just talking about the actual experience, going out there and doing it. All right. Again, you have people that are sitting home all day playing video games and not going out and touching grass.
It's, you know, we were joking earlier about how, like, when do we know it's fall? Oh. And there are so many people right now who would go, because Starbucks told me, because the pumpkin spice latte is back. Oh my God.
Is that when fall is now?
Apparently, yeah. That's when, you know, that's when it starts. But, you know, I was in South Carolina at the beach last month, toward, you know, end of August, middle to end of August, looking at trees going, oh yeah, we're getting yellow. We're starting to, you know, and like in my head, I was like, it's fall. We're there. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? It's 93 degrees outside. It's humid. It's this. I'm like, yeah.
But in our heads, I'm growing a beard, so my face is not cold during the winter.
Exactly. It's the awareness of those subtle shifts and movements. And even, you know, being at the beach, it's noticing the tidal differences and how they're a little bit more intense and the waves are a little bit more intense because it's storm season, and that is always around this time, and it's ushering in fall. And, you know, it's just being connected to that instead of, again, letting the commercial world dictate when.
Well, it's kind of like the commercial I keep on seeing here lately for Starbucks. You know, are you at peak winter? And a girl looks down and goes, well, I am wearing plaid.
I love my plaid. Leave me alone.
But again, this is what we have in our society where people like me and you are sitting there going, well, the leaves are changing. It's fall.
Right. And I think the difference, too, when we look at that, and again, modern life, is that the majority of people I know, again, the pagans, are going, okay, it's going to get cold. I need to get my firewood now. Mm-hmm. I need to get, you know, some salt in case we get snow or ice. I need to, right? Like, there's certain things we are already ahead of and planning. We don't wait till the forecast goes, oh, we're getting 10 inches of snow next week, and then run out and try to buy ice melt with everyone else when it's completely sold out. We've already got 2 bags in the garage. That, too, is kind of what It's what generations before us did. They didn't wait for everybody to tell us when and why.
Right. I mean, it's when is this round? I want to say December.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going out and my grandparents and everybody starting to plot the garden.
Yes, absolutely.
We got to start now.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I mean, and here you are in December and you're sitting here thinking, okay, right around the corner is planting season.
Yep. And you're tilling in February or March. And, yeah. A lot of people have lost touch with that. Even, changes to food, changes to diet. We just kind of, it all seems like it's very last second. Like when we show up at the grocery store and go, oh, there are strawberries. It must be spring. What?
When you got strawberries in the middle of winter. So again, we're
yeah, the cycles are a little off. It's not, it isn't, the convenience of modern life is not like it used to be.
No.
I mean, because it used to be you only had what was in season.
Right.
So yes, you didn't see strawberries unless it was May or June. Now you can get them all the time.
It's like Vidalia onions. I mean, they have a season. There's certain...
Mm-hmm. Everything does. Every crop has its time. Even animals, I mean, it's the same thing, but we're so used to getting what we want when we want it with no notice
whatsoever.
Right. That we often lose that connection.
Well, we also have, I've seen it a lot here lately too, where a lot of people they did not, especially with the shutdowns and stuff. Oh, well, we just ordered on Amazon. We just do this. If we just get the internet, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But nobody realizes somebody has to grow that meat, slaughter that cow, cut it up, process it to put it in a package to put it on the shelf.
Yes. And of course, the result is everybody wants to complain about inflation and talk about how much things cost. And all that convenience is killing us financially.
Oh, God, yes. That
is so much of what is causing the economic situation a lot of us are in, where it's getting rougher for people, and we don't put two and two together, that it costs a lot of money to be able to have all of those options and those things so readily available.
Again, being raised more farm. I'm sorry, when you're starting getting to that first harvest and stuff, and you're sitting there looking at your corn and all this other stuff and the tomatoes and stuff, you automatically know, okay, this Sunday, we ain't having no meat. Yeah, absolutely. It makes perfect sense because, I mean, it is living off of the land. It's using what you have. It's just, I think, and I see this in the younger generation where it's like a whim. They go, oh, I want whatever it is. And because there's so little thought or preparing or, planning there, they just go out, they buy it. It costs them way more than it should have. Right.
And then, they have to deal with the repercussions. I mean,
did you ever hear about the guy who went through the process of making a BLT from scratch?
Oh, good Lord.
And how much?
But that's pretty genius.
He grew the wheat, the whole nine, did everything he was supposed to do, and he sat there and calculated how much time, money, and effort it took
to make that sandwich.
To make that one sandwich. And when he came up with the cost and stuff, everybody was kind of like, "What?" Because this was some outrageous cost.
Oh, sure, it was probably the world's most expensive BLT.
Whatsoever. But then on the other hand, it was probably the world's best BLT because everything was fresh.
I mean, provided he cured the bacon well and he baked a decent bread, sure. But it's not something we often think about. But when we talk about which is working with what they have, that's a prime example. Less is more.
Let's talk about the fact that what about which is waiting for certain things to happen to have an actual certain meal?
I feel like we have to do that.
I mean, again, like when I was a kid, I used to get excited over at Grandma's house when it snowed.
Because especially if it was the second snow, I got snow cream.
Yep.
Where she would set a bowl out there, catch some snow.
Yep. Sure.
You know, again, this was something you could only have
right
when it snowed.
Of course. I think people who cook do still do that. Like my brother and I will talk about, it's going to be soup season, or it's going to be, because we adapt what we're cooking to what's fresh and what's available and the weather. But, if you're not really up on the kitchen witchery, that could be challenging.
Well, again, it gets winter time and it gets if it stays cold for longer than a week, the first words out of my mouth is, okay, it's time to make some chili.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not even just about, and yet some would say this is part of that process of turning the wheel.
Right.
Are we connected to it?
That's what I think. I'm like you. I think this is more about what we really should be talking about. Maybe we should, and again, maybe we should quit calling it turning the wheel and walking the wheel.
Yeah. It is so phenomenal to me how every therapist, every doctor, right, every medical professional you talk to is like, get outside and walk. Like that is the number one thing they want people to do.
Is to get outside.
Get outside. Go outside and walk.
Go outside.
And yet, you don't see that. There's not, we should be, springtime. Yeah, we should be out in the woods in, large masses roaming.
And you should be able to trip over a witch every 2 steps.
Exactly. who's foraging for mushrooms or something.
Or something. You don't have to worry about getting lost.
Yeah. It really is. It's reconnecting. I mean, and even if it's just the farmer's market, I think that's a wild concept too. Like, get out of the grocery store and go directly to some of the growers.
Oh God. Even if you can't do that, try growing some herbs.
That too. Yeah.
I mean, one of the most easiest plants.
Oh yeah.
Herbs, you ignore them.
It's not hard. Yeah. Rosemary, stick it in the ground. Do nothing.
Do nothing.
Yeah.
Except for don't run over with a lawnmower.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, it would smell really good, but...
no, Dad's already took out half my rosemary plant.
Yeah. Right. Well, I guess I'll be roasting all the chicken this winter. Can't roast a chicken without rosemary.
Now it's gotten big enough he can actually see it.
Good. That's excellent.
Bless his heart.
So yeah, it's being a bit old school. It's getting our heads out from all the electronics and
getting your hands in some dirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about getting your hands.
It's always get your hands dirty, people.
We have homework and get your hands in dirt.
Yep.
Not necessarily at the same time,
or in that order, but either way.
Either way.
Mm-hmm.
Us getting pieces of papers with dirt on it, we might actually be even happier than normal. Hey, look, I got a little extra. At least I know they had their hands in some dirt.
Hey, the funny thing is when the old timers can lick the dirt and tell you where it came from. Yeah. I mean, there's so many. We do that in the rock community a lot. There's. Have you tried licking it? Because you can. I know it sounds ridiculous.
If all else fails, lick it.
But yeah, you can sometimes determine locality based on the way the dirt tastes and smells.
Let me go ahead and put that out there. Do not go around licking herbs.
No,
please. But, no strange plant licking.
But do lick the rocks. I do. I do condone that. Lick the rocks. All right, we're gonna call it right there.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning.